They didn't tell me what to do. We have to go through all of this again. I didn't see anything. Maybe down? I don't know. Oh, Don Bluth and his floating women. All right. Left here again. We're gonna stop this. Yeah.
Please save me.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
It's locked with a key. The dragon keeps it around his neck.
Okay, so it's around his neck.
Slay the dragon. Use the magic sword.
I need the magic sword, though. Okay. All right, so I think I got it. So we're going left here. It was down. Did they tell me that? I didn't see it anywhere. Get the sword! Sword! Up! Sword! And we've slayed the dragon! We got the key! And we've done it! We've done it! And we got the princess whispering something so hot in our ear that our helmet just flew off. So there's Dragon's Lair. That's, well, it's a great game. It's highly influential. It took a while for the QuickTime events to really catch on, I would say. But ultimately, I think this is a game that is hugely important in video game history, especially in the arcade. This came out in 1983. I feel like I have to say that again. That's when Super Mario Brothers came out. So, I beat it. I got a high score. I got a higher score than that, but they won't let me put in my full name, so I'll just put it as BS again. There we go. That is the game. Can I just use my mouse then? Sorry about the weird cut there, but before we go, I did want to show off the game, just without me screwing up. So let's watch the game, which is something that you don't normally get to hear in games at all, but this game, it works very well. So let's watch the game. I will point out, though, that the bridge scene to start here only shows up in the home version. When I tried the arcade out, they skipped that scene entirely. I think this has to do with the NES port. I don't know, it kind of feels that way. It started there. That's how the arcade version started for me. But I want to talk about this game because I feel like there's so much going on that influenced the video game industry as a whole, but not at first. Because this came out in 1983, and home consoles and even PCs at the time could not handle something like this. As a result, it took forever for them to port it. I kept on looking for quality ways to play this game, and I struggled. I really could not find a good way to do it. And it wasn't until I saw that it was released on Steam in full that I suddenly got very excited about doing this, because when I thought that I could do arcade games for the channel, this was the first thing that came to mind. But this is also something that you really cannot play on an emulator. It just doesn't work. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why that is, but it made me sad because I couldn't get it done. And I'm so happy to get this done now. This is a game that, like I said, influenced the video game industry in ways that weren't apparent at first. Because, I mean, let's face it, this is QuickTime Event the game. And you'll be hard-pressed to find games at the time that were using QuickTime events. It's not really until, I would say, probably around the PlayStation 2 era, which is a huge era, but I can think of games that launched that used QuickTime events, and then towards the end, we're talking God of War and stuff like that, that were using QuickTime events pretty casually. They were using it quite often, and this is the game that kind of started that. And although it wasn't the first difficult game. I mean, this is a quarter eater if you've ever seen one. By the way, this is what it looks like when you're on hard mode. No prompts, nothing. You just have to hope that you time your presses right and that you're pressing the right thing. These things, though, I don't know, they don't quite fit in with the rest of the world here. Like this and a couple others. This is just weird for me, though. It's like the American Gladiator Q-tip things. I don't know, it doesn't make all the sense in the world, but there they are. Yeah, this is what it looks like. So if you played the arcade, yeah, this was going to eat a ton of your quarters. Probably would have to drop about $100 to beat it, I would say, give or take, and that's if you learned everything, right? I'm sure there were people hanging around this thing. I never got to play it in an arcade, but I have gotten to play it a couple other ways. I played mostly the console versions, though, like the NES version, which was awful. It was just as difficult, required, I would say, probably just as much memorization, but it was a terrible game. It lost the graphics, it lost the sound, and as a result, it didn't feel like Dragon's Lair. It just felt like somebody being like a Dragon's Lair fan fiction cosplayer type thing. It just didn't feel like the real thing at all. But yeah, good luck with this one. Good luck with this room if you don't know what you're doing. There are perfect runs in this game, right? If you memorize it, it's entirely possible. But for someone like me who was a casual fan, just wanting to see the end that I never got to see before, doing this without them telling me what to do was not a good option. There are a ton of Steam achievements for this game, but I will not be able to get a lot of them. Except for one, which is like, don't do anything right, fail at the first check. I think I already got that one while I was testing things out, but I feel like I should bring up Don Bluth, because Don Bluth is a lot of people's, mine included, childhood animator. When you think... Wait, what? You could have just dropped down? I didn't need to actually jump all the way through? Seriously? Alright, when you think of a great animator from the 80s, Don Bluth is probably one of the ones that comes to mind. So for him to animate a video game in 1983, this is the year that Super Mario Bros. Came out. This is a huge achievement, and it does feel like the quality, actually I know it's the quality, that you would have seen in a movie if you went to go see a Don Bluth movie. The only one that comes to mind for whatever reason right now is Five Goes West, which I'm not even 100% sure is Don Bluth, but it's the only one I can think of right now. But it has the characteristics, the quality, the production values of a movie. Although I do have to say the voice acting's a little off for me, but this is 1983. That's excusable. It's not that far off that it's off-putting, except when he hums after I've done something. Then it's a little off. But outside of that, yeah, that little hum right there. But that's more because I'm annoyed that I kept dying than anything else. They will tell you sometimes which way to go. They'll flash it, but other than that, like, you are on your own. So doing this on easy mode was really the only way that this was going to happen. But I'm happy that I went through it, right? It's an important part of gaming history. I feel like it launched its own kind of subgenre of not necessarily point-and-click adventures or platformers, but it formed this genre, although not necessarily QuickTime events either, but it formed a genre that I would say is not that populated with games like Oddworld or Out of This World, which I think is also called Another World. Those games where you're presented with a screen, and the screen has a puzzle to it, and you have to figure out how to get across it. I think this game was highly influential in making those games happen. And there are several games in that genre, for whatever reason, Out of This World and Oddworld are the only ones that come to mind, but there were games like that that are good and entertaining, and I haven't gotten to them, and I feel like this game may open the door to it. But really, I mean, for 1983, I cannot stress this enough. 1983! Pac-Man came out in 1980. This is 3 years after that. This is like Donkey Kong 2 that this came out. This was so much different than anything that came out at the time. Now, I wasn't alive in 1983, so I can't tell you what it was like in the arcade when this came out. Hell, there weren't even arcades around me when I was growing up. There were a couple places that I would go, but there wasn't a dedicated arcade. It was like an arcade slash mini golf course, you know? So I never got to play this game in the arcade, but I don't need to have played the game in the arcade to see how different this was than anything else at the time. I mean, this is a game that came out when everything was single screen, you know what I mean? Where you didn't go, the screen didn't scroll, nothing like that. All the action took place on one screen, and here you are playing an animated movie.
Please save me.
How you doing?
The cage is locked with a key.
Quite
The dragon
perky,
keeps it
aren't
around
you?
his neck. To slay the dragon.
How the hell did he get
magic
away
sword.
with her in 1983? Did none of the censors make it this far in the game? Surely at an arcade they would have thought this was too much. I mean, an arcade is designed for children, right? But I don't know, maybe at the time the regulations were looser. I don't know. But this game, so good. I highly recommend that anybody that is interested in video game history, or really any kind of classic arcade games, give this game a shot for themselves. Even if you watched me play it, you need to take the opportunity to see how this starts, where it goes, just honestly how good it is. Although, to be honest, the princess, I'm not sure if I'm her biggest fan by the end. She looks great, but her personality, I don't know. There's something off about her if she's just, yay, I'm being saved. There's something wrong going on there. She's not excited enough. She's not vested enough in my victory at the end for me, for whatever reason. But that is going to do it for these parts of Let's Play Dragon's Lair. I have been ballerscuba. I've been joined, as always, by dead bodies. So many dead bodies. As you can see, the game's not long at all. The long part is getting through it and not dying. You're gonna need a lot of quarters. Hope you guys have enjoyed this Let's Play. Hope you laughed. Hope you learned. Hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.